Hey everybody, it's Steve from Engage Family Gaming, and it's time for another unpacking video. And today, I am opening another pack of Magic the Gathering Strixhaven School of Mages. Let's see what we got. Boom, here we go. Spectacle Mage. It's a bird shaman, a blue and a red for a 2/2 flyer. Instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast. Tons of value on this guy. I love the art. It's like this cool little like owl dude. This is going to do some work, I think, because, you know, there's plenty of spells that cost 5 or more. So basically, it's how many spells are really awesome that cost 5 do we want to cast to cost 4? If there are a lot that are really good, then this will be great. So that's Spectacle Mage. Next, Clockwork Archivist. It is a 6-mana artifact creature construct. It has reach. It's for a 4/5, and it has 2 and tap. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. This is going to do great work in Limited for just getting rid of some of those cards that are in the graveyard. And, I mean, it looks cool. This looks like something that would have been out in, like, Pan's Labyrinth or something. So, it's kind of neat. Next, Thrilling Discovery. It's a sorcery that costs a red and a white. You gain 2 life, then you discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3. So that's kind of cool. So gain 2 life, discard 2 cards, draw 3. I think there's plenty of situations where you're going to want to do that. I can absolutely imagine a few. So that is Thrilling Discovery. I feel like that's going to find its way into a lot of commander decks, because there's lots of times where I would just want to dump lands late game and draw 3 gas cards, maybe. Soothsayer Adept. It's a 1 and a blue for a Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/3, 1 and a blue. Tap it to draw a card and then discard a card. So hey, it's a Merfolk. It's got a loot effect. It's 1/3. This is the definition of like a limited card, and that's okay. You need dudes. Pillar Top Warden, 3 and a red for a Spirit Dwarf. Okay, now we are talking. I love that art. He is so cool. It has reach. You don't see that on red cards very often. For a 1/5, 2 and tap it, sacrifice it to return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Activate it only as a sorcery. Man, I wish he was more powerful, but that is a pretty cool ability. You're going to see him in Limited, I bet. But I love that art. Next, Scurried Colony. It's a squirrel. So it's 1 and a green for a 2/2 reach. Scurried Colony gets +2/+2 as long as you control 8 or more lands. Wow, a 4/4 for 2 late game with reach is pretty awesome. Next, Arrogant Poet, 1 and a black. It's a human warlock. Whenever, it's a 2/1. Whenever Arrogant Poet attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying. Cool, I guess. There may be some situations where you want to pay life, and that's a great way to do it. Stonerise Spirit. It's a 1 and a white for a spirit bird. It's a 1/2 flyer, and you pay 4 and exile a card from your graveyard. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. It's a great way to get cards out of the graveyard to fuel some. There are some white and red cards that get better if you remove cards from the graveyard. So that's one way to do that if you desperately need to. Frost Trickster. It's a bird wizard, 2 and a blue. When Frost Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. Creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. 3 for a 2/2 flyer is good. The fact that this locks down one of your opponent's best creatures is pretty good. So this is going to see a lot of play in Limited at the very least, but I bet you this might even see Constructed play, because that's not bad. Probably just Limited, though. I'm not the best at evaluating constructed cards. So here we go. Introduction to Prophecy. It is a 3-mana colorless lesson. 3 mana for scry 2, then draw a card. Sure, that seems great. It is a card. I don't think that's going to break the word, but you can put it in any deck, so that's pretty okay. Okay, next, we are in the uncommon. So Deadly Brew, black and a green. Sorcery, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrifice permanent this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Listen, you're going to play this, your opponent's going to have to this gets around all sorts of protection and indestructible, etc. It's a great way to make your opponent lose some stuff, especially if they only have one thing. And you're going to get value out of it, right? Hopefully what you're doing is setting up a situation where they have to sacrifice something important, and you can sacrifice some hot garbage and then return stuff to your hand. So you want to be playing this in a deck that takes advantage of it. Otherwise, it just kind of is like meh. But if you do, there are gonna be some situations where this card is just gonna murder. So that is Deadly Brew. Next is Mascot Interception. 3 and a red for a uncommon sorcery. This spell costs 3 less to cast. If it targets a creature token, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap it. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. So it's basically kind of like a traitor effect. And it gets real cheap if you're stealing a token. Considering there's lots of tokens in here, I can imagine stealing some really big fractals or elementals with this. So here we go. Mascot Interception. And next is Fracture. Black and a white, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. That is very straightforward and very good. There will almost never not be something to use this on. So that is pretty good. Now, here we are, the rare. It is the Biblioplex. This is one of the rare lands, so you tap it for a colorless mana. You pay 2, look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery, you can reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Activate only if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards in your hand. So this, my friends, is basically like a weird Library of Alexandria. Pretty neat. This is good. I mean, this is going to be a great way to draw more. There are going to be decks that are going to really use this. But the problem is the limit of exactly 0 or 7 cards. But there's somebody that's going to make use of this. Oh, I love the art, though. It's pretty cool. And next, we have the fancy card for this particular pack, and that is Opt. This is another one that's got really cool art. And this is 1 blue, scry 1, draw a card. This is really nice. I love that every pack has one of these, so this is really cool. So, and then we got an Inkling token. So, everybody, thank you for watching, and we'll be back next time. See you soon. Bye.